Hello, I'm Josra and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Uh, where we left off, uh, we found out why Hanako is like this. Like, sad, not, yeah. So, how are you today? The tint of the room slowly changes from the shine of the afternoon to the orange of dusk. The clock lazily takes away the seconds, counting in the background, on the verge of hearing. Uh, just double checking. Uh, Sorry, I'm just checking if my second screen's working. Hmm. Yeah, it should be working. Sorry about that. But no matter how long I wait, the outcome cannot be changed. The diminutive playing piece. Diminutive playing piece makes a small click against the board. With a wound spring, Hanako makes her move only moments after mine. It's embarrassing in comparison to my 5-minute moves. She seems to know exactly what she wants to do.
Mate.
Again? What does this make? What what does what does this what does that make? What does that make this? 3-2?
Stalemates don't count.
Damn, you're getting better at this every day. That or she's been holding back. I'd never have thought it would. I would have never thought it when I first met her, but she really has a knack for this game. Chess seems to have become a popular pastime for the two of us, hiding away in the tea room, playing a game or two after classes. From here, the students outside can just barely be heard milling about. The everyday noises from below remind me a little of my life before Yamaku, though I'm by now well aware that it's a life I'll never get back to. Fancy another game?
I have to finish my homework.
Oh, well, I'll see you tomorrow then.
What about this?
Hanako points to the tea set surrounding the mostly empty chessboard. Don't worry about that, I've got it.
Oh, okay. See you.
Can't believe off the bat I have to use that voice. Later. Hanako departs as I start cleaning up the area. The occasional whistles and cheers from the sporting clubs outside become less frequent, eventually approaching silence. A part of me still wants to be in some sort of team since I played soccer and other sports before my accident. I guess it's only normal to feel nostalgic about what I can't do anymore. But I have other reasons than that for my coming here so often, and I don't feel so bad about losing that part of myself because of them. Lily is a good friend by now, and it's the small exchanges I have with Hanako that feel especially dear. Any smashing occur lately? No. No smashing yet. Also, hello Spiral, how are ya? I hope you like your new look. Yeah, I decided to become strict because after yesterday, that was 3 strikes. Because before that occasion, a few months ago, a few months ago, someone said the N-word, and a few weeks before that, someone said the N-word as well. So I realized if I want, even though my main goal is entertainment and to make sure everyone's having fun, there needs to be a limit. If that fun is annoying people in the chat or just being rude and disrespectful to others, then I need to step up. Like, yeah, I want to have fun, but there needs to be limits, you know? Overall, I'm doing well. I'm a little tired. I am motivated though. Wait, did I read that? Whoops. I don't think I read that. Yeah. The small victories I feel every day as I see more of what she's like under her self-imposed shell. That's why I come here most of all. Jaws is now half Virgil and a quarter Sparta. Like, DMC is I like DMC, but I don't compare myself. I made it lifetime to abuse. Don't. I know you're kidding, but but I don't know. I don't see myself as a Virgil. I kind of want to see myself as a Dante. Like, I want to be funny and woohoo, wacky woohoo pizza man. But yeah. As I'm putting away cups and saucers, I hear talking outside the door. Pausing for a moment to listen, I can make out that it's Hanako and Lily, and decide to go outside to investigate. Now I'm well motivated. Are you quite sure?
I am sure. It's hell.
Hanako turns to see me with a look of mild surprise as she notices my approach. Lily must have caught her just as she was about to leave. Oh my, wait, Arara? Isa's here as well. Afternoon, Lily, what's up? I was hoping, now that I've finished my class representative duties for the day, that I might have the two of you accompany me for tea at the Shanghai. It would be nice to enjoy ourselves outside school for a change. I'd be up for it. I think Hanako had work to do, though.
It's not all that much.
Wonderful. It seems that we're... Wait. It seems that we're decided then. If Fireball attends the stream, tell him that he missed an Ara. Or I could just tell him. I cast my eyes across the cafe as the three of us stand in. As usual, there are only a handful of people around at most, and the noise level is a quiet background hum. What happens when you're late? What do you mean, what happens if you're... I am confusion. You might need to explain it to me. The hold Lily has on Hanako's arm reminds just as it has been for the whole slow walk down the hill to the local town. Though it's hard to say for which reason, for Lily's guidance or Hanako's reassurance. Maybe both. For a moment, Lily removes her arm from Hanako's to retract her cane as Yuko quickly skitters over to where we stand, but soon replaces it right back where it had been. I can't read today. Welcome to the Shanghai. May I take your order? She gives a deep bow, her well-delivered and professional introduction putting her in a good mood. It's a nice change from the norm for Yuko. Just tea. Just tea, please. Hanako? Isao? I'll have a slice of pie and a coffee.
Just tea, please.
Coming right up. Please take a seat. Please take any seat you wish, and I'll be back shortly. Yuko gives a smile and a nod before shuffling to the counter, and we make our way to some empty seats by the window in quick measure. We slip into our seats, the girls on one side with Lily's cane propped beside them, and I on the other. I realize that Hanako's not doing something that she so often. Wait, Hanako's not doing something that she so often does. Rather than keeping her eyes pinned to the ground and I'd like an order. It's that meme. Rather than keeping her eyes pinned to the ground and hiding behind her blind escort, busily trying to convince herself that the world around them doesn't exist, she's merely keeping her eyes low and helping Lily around. Are you okay, Lily? You look tired. She lowers her head a little, looking somewhat embarrassed that she let it show. Well, loss representative work can be very tiring, considering that it often means dealing with the student council. Very tiring indeed.
How did the other representatives go?
Better than I thought, but not by much. He shouldn't give her cheese. If does she like cheese? Shizune is a harsh taskmaster no matter whom she deals with. I'll try, but it's a dating. Wonderful. This calls for cheese. Cheese for him. It doesn't sound like you particularly relish the job. Why do you do it in the first place if it's that bad? Being a class representative is enjoyable, and I can deal with the responsibility well enough. It's just that the people involved are sometimes. She trails off, cutting her words at a rather opportune spot. It's hard to imagine Lily cursing, but I imagine that if anyone could make her do so, it would be Shizune. Hanako looks to be withering a bit in the light of such conflict, but before I can steer the topic away a little, she stands up. Hanako?
I'll be back in a bit.
With that, she leaves for the restrooms. I suppose that's one way to deal with the situation, if that was indeed her motivation. Lily, however, looks a little wounded. Don't worry about it. I don't think it was you. But I think she's been getting stronger recently. You've seen it yourself, right? That went a bit weird. Fortunately, Lily doesn't look offended, and by now I really shouldn't be quite so scared of stepping on the landmine around her. That landmine. Possibly. Well, the tea is. I drank tea earlier. It's a different type of tea to what I drink usually. This is a more sweet tea, so it's kind of sticking to my throat. Possibly. Sometimes I find it hard to tell though. Silence reigns for a moment before before two teacups, a pie, and a mug of steaming coffee appear in front of us. I notice that Yuko takes special care to place the teacup against the tip of Lily's fingers, letting her know where it is. Here you go. Thanks, Yuko. Thank you. With a quick and silent bow, the bespectacled waitress takes her leave. Ah, that's right. I was meaning to ask you something, and now would be the right time to do so. I'm all ears. Hanako's birthday is coming up, and I was hoping that you might accompany me for present shopping in the city this weekend. Hanako's birthday is soon? I suppose it would be a nice change to cheer her up a bit. Like Yuko, she always seems to be teetering on the edge of either panic or depression, and I've never seen her enjoy herself much outside of our chess games. All that aside, learning the layout of the city better with a friend helping me. Better with a friend keeping me company sounds like a good way to spend a weekend. Sure, I'd be happy to. Have you got any plans for what to do for her birthday? A party or something? Or anything? Hanako being Hanako, perhaps a low-key affair would be. Lily suddenly cuts herself short, leaving me to wonder why as she brings her teacup to her lips and begins to sip. After a few seconds, I notice Hanako walking up to us over her shoulder. Lily's hair must be very good indeed, if it was the sound of the restroom door opening that tipped her off. Hanako takes her seat once again, and wastes no time in drinking her tea. Soon the three of us are quietly eating and drinking as the sun sets. It's a nice way to spend the remainder of the day's light, and it makes me appreciate the quiet and serene surroundings of Yamaku. I think I'm really beginning to like life here, as isolated as it may be. I finish off the last of my coffee and rest the mug on the table, while the girls talk between themselves. The coffee here's a little bitter for my taste, but still quite good. Better than what I can make for myself in any case. The girls' discussion is mainly focused on the representative reading preferences, which does give me a little curiosity about a related topic. Hey, Hanako, I was just wondering, aside from chess and reading, do you have any hobbies or things you like doing? She's completely stopped in her tracks, looking quite surprised that anyone would be interested in such a question about her. It takes her a little time to formulate her response.
I guess I like singing. A little. I'm okay with computers as well, but I don't use them all that much.
Oh wow. We have some similarities, Hanako. Singing's not exactly something I expected to hear. It's hard to imagine her singing voice, given how soft-spoken she is. I could sing with that voice, surprisingly. Lily, on the other hand, simply nods. She must already know all this, since she's been friends with Hanako for 1 year or so by now.
What about you?
Me? She hesitates before quickly flicking her head up and down. It's only logical that she'd want me to talk about my hobbies after she's told hers. There's chess, obviously, but also... There was soccer as well, though I can't really do that anymore. Reading, which I picked up in the hospital, This is surprisingly hard. Lily and Hanako look a little put off by the direction this is taking, and the more I think about it, the more I am too. It sounds as if you picked up quite a few things since your accident. Lily's condor is, I'm not sure if I said that right, is coated with probably the most positive spin one could put on what I said. Hanako, however, is silent. I got tongue twisted. If a situation becomes difficult, her reaction always seems to be withdrawing into silence, in order to prevent things getting worse. That, or physically retreating. Oh wow. That kind of startled me. A soft ringing gives us pause as Lily reaches into her pocket. It becomes obvious that the sounds coming from her phone. Why does a mobile phone sound like a landline phone? Sorry.
It's okay.
Lily gives a quick nod before shuffling out of her seat and taking the call a little distance away to avoid disturbing the both of us. Must be nice to be popular. Hanako smiles but doesn't take up the hook for further discussion. I end up just sitting back and closing my eyes, relaxing as best I can. It's nice and peaceful here. I wonder what it'd be like to have grown up somewhere like this, rather than in the city.
You came from the city?
Looks like I found something she wants to talk about. Yeah, you could say I was a city kid through and through.
It sounds like a lot changed.
It did. I'm not quite sure what to make of it all, though it's a bit of a culture shock in more ways than one. You must have gone through something like this when you first arrived at Yamaku, right? I'd imagine most new students would.
Not really.
Hanako gazes a little to the side, looking unwillingly to go on. I tilt my head inquisitively, but a couple of seconds pass with no further answer. But can't we deal with that on Monday? The fallout has surely settled from the loss. I understand. I'll try to talk her down. You know what she's like when she gets locked into an idea. Yes, thank you. I'll talk to you later then. Goodbye. Lily's conversation ends with a snap of her phone closing. She returns to our table, but doesn't take her seat. Need to go? Unfortunately, class representative work calls once again.
I can come with you.
It's alright, Hanako. I'll just be going straight to the student council. There's no need to spoil a fine afternoon on my account. Did I read that right? Besides, if you were to accompany me on my way back to school, who would keep our poor Hisao company?
Okay.
I can join you for tea later tonight, if you'd like. I may well need it. We agree on that plan, and Lily says her farewells to the both of us, taking her cane after Hanako passes it to her. Despite my offer to pay for Lily's share, she insists on giving us her portion of the bill, and gives her regards to Yuko as she takes her leave. And then we're alone. It may be all well and good to leave Hanako and me alone to have some time together, but it all typically means is the two of us sitting near each other in silence for a while. I wonder what I must look like to Hanako, I never thought of myself as a scary person, but to have someone my own age acting this way around me makes me intensely self-aware, as if it's my fault that she's so troubled. She might get she might get more used to people if she were to stop being so cloistered in Yamaku. But then again, e when even people much older than her react so strongly after a single glance at her face, she may very well feel the same way I do now. It's a real catch-22. If she stays in Yamaku, she won't get used to socializing. But if she leaves, any effort she might try would get her thrown back. Would get thrown back at her by the people who can't deal with her scarring. Want to order something? Want to order something else to keep us going? We haven't had much of a dinner after all. Hanako brightens and nods very vigorously, glad that I brought up the topic for her. I catch Yuko's gaze, and she dutifully comes over to take our orders. Would you like something else? I'll just have a sandwich special and a hot chocolate. Bit late for coffee by now. Hanako?
I'll have the same.
With a nod and a bow, Yuko turns on the ball of her feet and returns behind the counter, where she busies herself fishing out bread and condiments and working the machine to make our drinks. Not a word is said between us until Yuko comes back. She smiles and gives us our food and drinks, before moving to a customer who's called for her attention. I give up on the prospect of having much of a conversation with my companion, and decide to just enjoy the meal, small as it may be. Who has sandwiches for dinner? I mean, I would want a sandwich for dinner, but if it's a sandwich, I'd rather have it as a heavy sandwich with a lot of filling. Wait, did I read that? I'm forgetful. Oh, I didn't. It tastes nice, as does most of the food here. After having a few mouthfuls, I notice something's missing, namely the sound of Hanako eating. Looking back to her, I see Hanako fidgeting a little behind her untouched sandwich. Not hungry? She shakes her head from side to side. Even as she does, the patch of hair she keeps over the right side of her face still does its job in hiding it almost entirely.
It's not that.
Oh, I was all ready to have your share too.
You look troubled. Is something wrong?
I'm startled by her thinking that I'm the one who looks troubled, but on second thought, she's probably right. My face may have given away my emotions without me noticing, and she's hardly a dim person. Quite the opposite. We're friends, right?
Friends.
From the tone of her voice and shaky posture, it looks as though I've hit yet another landmine. This is another reason why interacting with her is difficult. The self-imposed psychological barrier she puts up between herself and others, including me, and most likely even Lily, is a shame that...
I think that we are...
I'm a little taken off guard by Lily... Wait, Lily. I'm getting the names confused now. By Hanako's straightforward answer. All the more since I was about to give up on getting any reply at all. I see.
Am I wrong? Sorry. I...
No, it's just hearing confirmation of that from you is reassuring. To pick up on what you said earlier, since coming to Yamaku, I've been a bit uneasy about how I should relate with others. I find myself touching. Wait, chuckling a little. It's surprising how much of a relief that was. I can feel my face smiling as I pick up my cup of hot chocolate and bring it to my lips. Ouch, that's hot.
That's why. That's why I haven't eaten yet. I was waiting for my drink to cool down first.
I guess I'll wait then. The both of us share a little chuckle. The situation isn't that funny, but for some reason, it feels like laughing is the most natural thing to do right now. I guess we were both a bit wound up about each other. I was so busy thinking Hanako was the one with something wrong. It took her to remind me that I was uneasy as well. Be that as it may, it still feels a little nice. A little nice to have someone thinking about me like that in her own way. Following a long, quiet trudge up the hill and into the school grounds, the two of us find ourselves between the two dormitories. Regular night patrols pass between the male and female dormitory buildings, both for security and to quickly raise the alarm for any medical issues that may arise. The guard currently on duty notices us and gives us a quick nod as he continues on his way. A loud yawn escapes from Hanako's mouth before she has a chance to cover it. I have little doubt she's fairly tired by now. I'd be off to my room then. See you tomorrow, Hanako? I just realized this, but Hanako looks like she came straight out of Resident Evil. Is it because of her scarring or something else?
Good night.
We separate and begin to walk our separate ways, before I stop and look back. Hanako stands there, waving to me as she smiles. I smile and wave back to her, and after a few seconds, she turns and walks up the stairs to her dormitory building, disappearing through the door. These little movements we share between us feel like a small treasure. One thing is sure. I want to protect the small, delicate smile she so fleetingly wears around so few people. I wonder about these feelings I have when Hanako's around, and when I'm able to do things for her, whether they may be the seed of something beyond what we share now. Okay, Hisao is developing feelings for Hanako. The scarring and also the hair, although with the hair. That's true, a lot of horror games has that hairstyle for some reason. Let's see. Yep. The summertime sun is something to be savored, but when combined with the clean country air, it's all the better. I was just listening in because one of my brothers came back home, and I was wondering if they're gonna barge in because one of them's going to be drunk because he went clubbing. The other one, I have no idea where he went. The track and field club members are horsing around on the field ahead. Some are playing with a soccer ball, others are talking, and a few laugh as two of them mock fight with each other. None of them pay me any heed as I sit alone on the grass, underneath the shade of a particularly large tree. It's a nice and peaceful moment that after a dreary day of schoolwork. I played soccer pretty often before my heart attack, so I had thought it would be really nostalgic to watch them. What I'm feeling now, though, is quite distinct from that emotion. It's her! One of the game's writers modded this game. so she becomes a dateable option. No, she doesn't become a dateable option. You play as her in the mod, and you have two options, two people to date: another girl, or you date his Sal. Maybe at some point in the future I'll play her DLC, but for now, after Katawa Shoujo, I plan to play Witcher 3. I hear footsteps approaching me from behind, and I turn to my side and to see one of my classmates taking a seat beside me. I'm taken off guard, as the two of us haven't talked much before, and I didn't think anyone would notice me here. Sup? Hey, hi, Miura. Wasn't it? Just call me Mickey. Surnames are too stuffy. Likewise then. We both look. Apparently, you could only talk to her in Hanako's route. But a lot of people in the fandom are disappointed that you can't date her by default. But if you have the mod, you date his Sal because you play as her. We both look back out to the field, where the field where the guys are playing. I think that's a spelling mistake. I think it was where the guys are playing. It looks like they're getting ready to have a second game, with people spreading out to their positions, and the ball being carried to the center of the field. Sure enough, the whistle is blown to begin the match, and they get right back into it. Not gonna play? Nah, just gonna rest for a bit. What about you? You look like you wanted to play when you were watching us before. So someone did notice after all. Someone did notice me after all. It's kind of a long story. Her face says that I piqued her interest. I'm in Yamaku because I've got a heart condition. I can't really play soccer anymore. Wanted to be a soccer player? Wanted to be a soccer player, did you? No, I only really did it for fun. My friends played it, so I played it as well. Any of those guys playing around could have been me before my accident, but I don't feel like I have any real wish to go back to that, either. It's a little hard to explain. I'm still decently physically built from the days when I played, even if my strength largely left me by now, and I got on well with the other club members. When I think about it, I should feel pretty bad watching people play when I can't anymore, yet I don't. Maybe it's a good thing, a sign that I've gotten over it and I'm ready to become a new person. Sorry, I'm kinda rambling. It's cool. I'm glad to hear that. Wait, I'm actually glad to hear that. It sounds like you really have your stuff together. Some of the people that come to Yamaku are pretty messed up at first. So you're a member of the track and field club then? Yep. Been at it since I first arrived. Don't suppose you're friends with Emmy. Short, fast runner, no legs. I don't think there are all that many female track and field members. Also, what's strange is that, yeah, she's in the track and field club, but she only appears in Hanako's route. She doesn't appear in Emmy's route from what I heard. Emmy. Everyone knows about her, don't they? But nah, I tend to get on better with guys, so me and Emmy don't really talk much. Anyway, what about you? Well, I'm not really in any clubs. Real clubs, anyway. You've been hanging out around with Hanako and that blonde Amazon though, right? Blonde Amazon? I suppose Lily has the height to fit that description. If nothing else, I nod in response, without making too fair a point of things. And don't worry about it. As long as you've got some friends, you don't need to join a club. A loud whistling from the field attracts our attention. One of the players is on the ground, clutching his leg, and the others stop to jog up to him, leaving Mickey grimacing. Ouch, that looks painful. That guy really has bad luck. Back in high school, I played soccer and I accidentally tripped over the ball and I landed on my arm and I broke my right arm. Well, that was the second time I've broken my arm. The first time I broke my arm was my left arm. As she continues to look onto the field, I can't help being reminded of her own injuries. Her left arm, ending in a thumb rather than a hand, has been bandaged up for the entire time I've been in Yamaku, and her injury doesn't seem that new. She turns to talk to me again and catches me looking. Both of us sit in awkward silence as she takes her bandaged arm. I've never broken any bones, and a power of cheese is vast and great. Here's the ironic thing. I actually really enjoy dairy, so I eat a lot of cheese and butter, but I still ended up like breaking my arms. But this was back when I was younger, so it's been a couple of years. I think it's been like a good decade. She turns to talk to me again and wait, I already said that. She takes her bandaged arm and holds it in her lap with other remaining hand. Sorry, I guess I'm still a bit... It's fine, really. Her tone is light, but neither of us says anything afterwards. Every disabled student here has their own way of dealing with their problems, and some finding their condition troublesome is only natural. I'm included among them, after all. The injured guy from the soccer game manages to get on his feet with some help, and ends up hobbing off the field with one arm over the shoulder of another for support. Probably just pulled a muscle if he can still manage to walk. When I broke my left arm, it was outside of school. It was during the weekends, so I missed out school because I needed to go to the doctor. When I broke my right arm, that happened at school. Because of procedure, after I broke my arm, we went to a park close to our school. As procedure, everyone was evacuated and I was left there to wait for an ambulance. Of course, the ambulance never came, so I just ended up... my dad ended up taking me to the hospital by train. The whistle blows again, and the game continues once more, with one less man on the field. Hang out with Hanako and the blonde girl. You keep some pretty interesting company. How so? It's just that Hanako's kind of, I don't know, shy. No, it's not really that. It's just, she's got issues, I think. I can't really put it in a nice way. Not that I don't think she's a nice person, though. She's perfectly nice. Just hard to deal with. It sounds like Mickey, or at least some other people in the class, have tried to get closer to Hanako in the past, but that it didn't go well. I think her judgment is rather harsh, given that everyone, not just those in Yamaku, have their own issues. Then again, I haven't known Hanako for that long, so it wouldn't surprise me if there was some stuff I didn't know about. I'll just take it as it comes. She's a nice person, and I think that should be all that matters. Mickey's eyes narrow a little, and her smile spreads. You really like her, don't you? Yeah, I think I need to admit it. To get the good ending. Mickey certainly doesn't mince words. To be completely honest, yeah, I do. I'd appreciate it if you don't tell anyone. Hey, whoa, you can trust me. No problems there. To be honest, I think it's kinda cute. If you want to go for it, don't let me stop you. Thanks. She may say that, but she was just talking about Hanako having issues. Still, I want to hold myself to those words. I said, Hanako's problems don't matter. I'll deal with anything that comes up because I want to help her. If there's even the smallest possibility that I can pull Hanako out of her depression and seclusion, then I should work towards that, no matter what. If she needs a prince, then I'll be that prince. Oh wow. Wow, Hazel. Wow. Wow. That's my best Owen Wilson impression. Then again, I can't do a masculine voice. The best masculine voice I can do is when I'm trying to impersonate Rin. But even then, you guys say I just sound tired. As I think about the possibility of a relationship, I can see Mickey grinning at me while watching my face. I'm no doubt blushing and looking away from her only makes her laugh. Mickey gives off a different vibe from the other girls. Talking to her feels more like talking to a guy than a woman. Her saying she prefers male company doesn't help to dispel that notion either. So it's because of that. Even though the mod was created by one of the game's writers, a lot of people some people still considers it non-canon, but yeah. Glancing at my watch shows that lunch break is ending in only a few minutes. Time to start heading back to class. Lunch is about to end. Want to head back? Yeah, we better. I pick myself up off the grass and dust myself off, offering a hand to Mickey to help her up as well. She takes it and easily pulls herself up, showing the muscle moving in her toned bare arms in the process. Come to think of it, why aren't you wearing the normal girl's blouse? Yeah, she's wearing a boy's uniform on top and a skirt. She's like Rin, but Rin also wears the pants. It's too hot and constricting. The boy's uniform is better anyway. She throws her arms around a bit to emphasize her point, which has the side effect of her showing one particular part of her body that can be especially constricted by the blouse. Her belly button? The two of us start the walk back to the main building through the gardens, talking as we go. It sounds like you're selling in well. That's a relief. It was pretty surprising to get a transfer student at this point in the year, considering the exams are coming up. Don't remind me. Don't worry about them. Just cram it, and you'll be fine. That doesn't sound like good advice. I relate to her. She claps my shoulder a couple of times as she grins. I don't think she takes school very seriously. You seem like a smart guy, and Mudo's taken to you well already. You're like a hen in a glove. Now to work out whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I still don't know what to make of this school. I've been here a few weeks already, but I still feel dazed at times. You'll get used to it. Just give it some time. It's only a high school, just like any other. She makes it sound so simple that I've never thought about it that way. To me, Yamaku symbolized a marked shift in my life. I was no longer normal. I was different, and was to be educated with other different people. And yet, I'm walking back to class and talking casually with a classmate during lunch, after watching some some others play a game of soccer. I'm perfectly normal. Maybe she has a point. Maybe I should just look at Hanako in the same way. Everyone has their own issues. This is hardly something unique to Yamaku. After all, it's only a high school, just like any other. As we continue to talk, I find myself smiling. Mickey and I are very different people in almost every way, but it feels good to have gotten to know another classmate a little bit better. If I remember correctly, we're on Act 3. And I think Katawa Shoujo tends to only have 4 acts per person. So there's a possibility this stream could either end early, meaning there's a possibility. We'll see. A light breeze blows the scent of early summer around my head while I wait for Lily. Small white clouds litter the sky, breaking up the monotony of the blue. Asao, are you here? Lily's voice flits on the breeze as if they were one and the same. I stop gazing into the sky to examine Lily. With a peach off-the-shoulder sweater and tan ankle-length skirt, in addition to tan sandals, she's quite a nice sight. I know that we're not dating her this time though. Yeah, I'm over here, Lily, near the gate. Were you able to sneak away from Hanako? Yes, it's not uncommon for me to go out during weekends. I don't think she noticed anything suspicious. And that she has someone she sees. Lily purses her lips, as if she maybe shouldn't have continued. I find it a little hard to believe. Lily's seeing someone? Wait, Hanako's seeing someone? Really? No, it's just she sees a therapist every so often on weekends. Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. She rubs her arm uncomfortably, and after one look at her troubled expression, I quickly move to change the topic from Hanako. Huh. Yes. So, Lily, I may be trying to get in Hanako's pants this route, but by any chance you wanna cheat on her together? I was just wondering, you can get around the city on your own. Lily sighs at my consternation surrounding the topic of her blindness. I'm my own worst enemy sometimes. I can, yes. It's easier when I'm out with a friend or my sister, though. I wonder how Lily gets along with her sister. Being an only child, it's hard to imagine what having a sibling would be like, so it makes me a little envious of her. Right. Well then, the bus arrives in a few minutes, so we should probably get a move on. Indeed. It's a long wait if we miss the next one. With that, we set off the bus stop on the hill. It's only a small distance from the school gate, so it's very convenient. It's a nice view from here. Coming from the city, I never really got to see scenery like this, let alone on a daily basis. This area is nice for me as well. It's tranquil and away from the noises and the smells of the city. Lily's head perks up in a trademark gesture of hers, signifying that she's caught a sound. Oh, here comes the bus. I look down the road to see the bus trundling up the hill. Her hearing's quite a useful tool. The bus only takes a short while to reach the bus stop, forcing its way up the road, and within a minute we are on our way to the city. Walking around the city, I feel a distinct nostalgia. The smell, the traffic, the tall buildings everywhere. It's a lot like my native city, save for the raised walkways. It feels a little weird walking around the city as casually as I would in a park, but with cars rushing around beneath me. As I'm busily pondering the engineering marvel that is the raised walkway, I get a surprise. It takes a moment for me to realize that Lily has wrapped her arm around mine, extending her cane in front of her with her other hand. For a moment I'm startled, but I manage to keep enough of a lid on it for Lily not to notice. While it's not the first time that Lily's relied on me for guidance, she'd only held onto the my sleeve's cuff before. It's logical that it would be easier for her to navigate a crowd and complex area such as the city while securely linked, but I'm far from being as used to this kind of contact as Lily is. Finally realizing the growing silence between us, Lily waits for me to get moving. I quickly kick my brain into gear. You know, it was quite a surprise that Hanako likes to sing. Have you ever heard her do that before? I have indeed. We've been to karaoke sessions several times, along with my sister. I can't say I take to the activity much, but the other two like it. Oh yeah, the lyrics. Maybe Hanako doing karaoke is more fitting than I initially thought. Just her and those she knows, all alone in a little room. It would give her a rare chance to let her guard down, with nobody else there to judge her. Maybe it would be nice to bring her into town for a karaoke birthday party if she likes doing it. I'm not sure she would deal very well with that excitement. I move to protest, but her face shows that she's mulling the proposal over some more. It takes quite some time for her to come to a conclusion. Karaoke? I had a karaoke stream before. I really like karaoke, but I'm not the best singer, even though I'm a music student. So, I mean, I was told my singing has improved, but I can only go off by what people say, but I'm not too sure myself. But your partner is in here. Memories broken. I don't know the reason. Oh, yeah. Wait, let me just fix up my seating, because there we go. Then again, the best thing we can do for Hanako at this point is to try to create some pleasant birthday memories. Continually treating her as if she's abnormal wouldn't help. I think you're right. If she has something to remember apart from loss, then maybe she'll come around. If we bought her something nice that she could see every day, then maybe she'd be able to take her mind off her past and remember that she has friends. And in any case, I think Hanako can handle something like this. In the time I've spent beside her, I've learned that she isn't quite as frighteningly fragile as I first thought she was. So, shall we be off? I'm not really sure about the layout of this area. Very well. I might like to suggest something to eat first. Did I read that right? Don't ride on my back, please. I know you're... did I read that right? Very well. I might like to suggest having something to eat first. Okay. I haven't either, so that sounds like a good plan. Make sure you choose a nice place, Isao. She gives a teasing smile, one that makes me smile reflexively in response, even if she can't see that. I'll make I'll make very sure I do. Don't worry about it. Once inside, I ordered 2 slices of pie and accompanying cups of tea. Take them back to our table. Well, they like to mention pie in this game. I'd pegged this cafe as a type to appeal to Lily, small and quiet, and well kept, and somewhat upscale. Going by the dainty smile she wears, I don't really know if I chose right. It's very, very rare to not see her smiling after all. I mean, in her route she says this was a good pick. Nevertheless, I take a seat near her at one of the corner tables and lay down our small meals. Lily gingerly smiles. Wait, Lily gingerly brings her head over the slice of pie in front of her, delicately taking in the aroma. Lemon pie, is it? Thank you, Isao. No problem. The tea's just next to it, so be careful not to knock it over. I've knocked drinks over. She nods appreciatively, but judging from the slightly weak smile she has, the warning wasn't really necessary. I suppose the sound must have tipped her off to its position. We both tucked into our food without further ado, both of us remaining largely silent. And as we do so, Lily isn't the type to appreciate discussion while eating, and I can't say I like it either. I'm the opposite. Apparently, I'm very talkative when it comes to eating. Eventually, we both finish our meals, and the last of our teacups. Let me quickly check. Memories. You forgot it's me that I spite as I stand up and fight. You went to it's only the cold wind I feel. It's me that I spite as I stand up and fight. You missed that part. Eventually we finish both our meals, and the last of our teacups follows in short order. Lily's the first to break the silence. That was very nice. I must say you've chosen quite well, Isao. No. Oh, I mean, it's ironic that you're sad at you're mad with yourself when the lyric you missed was "It's me that I spite." This is the first time I really had much of a look around the city, so all I could really do is choose somewhere that looked nice. Damn. Sorry. I feel really bad for inadvertently bringing up the subject of sight around Lily, but she doesn't seem to mind much. Quite the opposite. She almost looks amused by my awkward attempt at an apology. You're very thoughtful, Isao, but sometimes I fear it gets the better of you. There's no need to change your speech on my account. Lily truly is comfortable in dealing with her condition. Don't die, please. I still hasten to change the subject, as I can't really say that I share her confidence in the matter. Have you lived here for very long? It seems like you have this place very much sorted out. She quickly waves her hand in front of her face to dismiss the notion. It's nothing like that. I've attended Yamaku since the start of high school, but I didn't walk around the city very much because Akira, my sister, picked me up and dropped me off. Oh right, you mentioned not living in the dormitories until recently. It's quite a surprise. I just assumed she's been living here since entering Yamaku at the least, which would give her a few years here. I've lived with my family for most of my life. Then I was just together with my sister. My family having moved to Everness long before, and Akira working longer hours, I ended up having to move. Everness? Isn't that somewhere in Scotland? Oh, didn't I tell you? My family currently lives in Scotland, the birthplace of my mother. My dad's side is mainly Japanese though. Huh, the question of what gave Lily her looks did the question of what gave Lily her looks did cross my mind every now and again, but I've never thought to ask. That answers that then. To be honest, I never have guessed, considering you have no accent. I'm guessing you were born here? Full marks. I'm thankful for my heritage though, as without it, I'd likely not have been taught English so early in my life. And what of you, Isao? What about me? Who are we chasing today? Hanako. Also, hello, how are ya? She gives a moment's thought. She probably should have thought of what to ask me before switching the topic. I'll go with, what are your plans for the future? To be honest, I haven't thought about it I can't speak. To be honest, I haven't thought much about that recently. After my accident and subsequent months in hospital, enjoying my life here with you and Hanako has been enough for me. In fact, I don't think I thought at all about a future. For some time now, it seems most futile. This is your last year of school. After this, you'll have to fend for yourself, one way or another. It's not like I don't know. It's not like I don't know that. I just haven't put much thought into it since then. She opens her mouth to continue, but she gives a small sigh instead. She seems to have realized that she doesn't know enough about my situation to go too deep into this. Well, we all have our own pace. I just hope you'll take any chance you see. I understand. I'll think about it. As we walk back into the city, Lily takes a hold of my arm once again. So, did you have any good ideas for a present? To be honest, no. I've never been very good at picking them. As absurd as it sounds, perhaps we should just look around. Hearing Lily utter those words threw me for a moment. Seriously? So, antiques and pie, huh? Right. How do we do that? That's the reaction I was expecting. It's simple. You can go window shopping and just tell me what is around. Yeah, it's a great story. I finished Lily's route and I'm about to do Hanako's route. Also, hi, how are ya? Welcome to the stream. If something interesting comes up, then might then we might get an idea. Right. I'm still not so sure about. I'm not. Uh, I'm still not so sure of this, but I'll take your word for it. I think we'll manage. Hanako, my sister and I managed to do it well enough. With Lily's simplistic and rather optimistic statement, we set off into the shopping district of the city. I start describing everything I see to Lily. It's hard to think of Hanako going window shopping. She doesn't like. She doesn't feel like the type to place much stock in fashion. Nor I have. Nor have I noticed her reading magazines or the like. In fact, all I think I've seen her do as a hobby is read books. Then why don't you go to a bookstore? Simple as that, bro. There's a there's a housewares shop just ahead. Looks like it's mostly crockery though. I can't I can't think that I can't think that she'd have much of a need for that. And what type of message would that send to her? Um, cook more food? That's not such a bad idea, maybe. Sometimes it's best to leave these things alone, Esau. Once again, I get the feeling that Hanako's exploits in the kitchen aren't always successful. Lily must have had to help her with that sometimes. Let's see, next along is a bookstore. That seems like a good one. She's always reading. Yes, but there are a few problems with books. I'm not quite sure what she has and hasn't read. What about a gift card then? There's nothing as impersonal as giving someone a gift card. It's like some it's like saying, I don't know enough about you to work out what you'd like. For me it's a failsafe. For example, one of my brothers, he's the richest out of the out of four siblings. I'm one of the four. And it's hard to get him what he wants. It's hard to get him a present because he could just go out and buy it. So at the end of the day, I just end up giving him a gift card and say, you know what to do. And he appreciates it. I mean, it varies from person to person. I always thought of it as making sure they got what they wanted. Yeah. Giving people gifts is supposed to show them the level of affection you have for them. If you can't decide on a simple gift for them, then how much could you think of them? Right, no gift cards. Lily seems overly passionate about this, but I can see her point. If you're going to get something for someone, then you should put at least some thought into it. If I want to get something for Hanako that that reminds her of us every day, then what good is a gift card? In that case, what did you get Hanako last year? A porcelain doll. I thought that if she had someone to talk to, it might help ease her pain. A doll isn't. Wait. My presents for siblings are better. One of them studies physiology. Wait, no. Philosophy, so I gifted him top grass. One of my brothers, he's into fashion and clothes, so that's what I get him. My sister is pretty much the same, but my sister is kind of like a blend of my two brothers. Like, she's fashionable, but in the same time, she's also kind of boyish. The other studies machines, so I give him batteries. No charge for them. He, a doll isn't ever going to criticize her after all. So, I should look for a doll shop? If you could be so kind to keep a lookout for one, I would be grateful. Sounds good to me. Though, I wish you'd mentioned it earlier. But if I did that, then you wouldn't have started thinking for yourself, wouldn't you? Once again, Lily has a point. My brain is currently analyzing every store we pass for gift options. If Lily had mentioned a doll shop to begin with, I wouldn't have thought of anything else. We wander through the city streets, but seem unable to find anything that resembles a doll shop or anything that I could consider a fitting present. The simple act of searching is starting to clear my head. The events of last week are starting to fade away, and I'm looking forward to giving Hanako her gift. If I can find one, that is. This is hopeless. I thought we'd be able to find something in the city for sure, and I'm sure we've walked down the street at least once before. This street. That sounds... well, that almost sounds like you're giving half his how. It's not that, but it's a lot harder than I thought. Then, try not to be so restricting in your thinking. Maybe we should actually go into... we should actually go into some shops and have a look around. That might work. I've never really been any good at window shopping. Lily and I circle around this... Isn't there like a mall? Can you just go to a mall rather than just shopping corners? Lily and I circle around the city streets once more, this time popping into stores that catches our attention. In the end, though, nothing comes up as especially appropriate. Hanako's tastes are often quite hard to pin down at best of times, thanks to her intensively private nature, and those tastes we know are hard to accommodate. Maybe take a break for a minute. I'm a bit exhausted. I agree and leave Lily to rest against a railing while I go to get a couple of drinks from a nearby vending machine. After walking up to the vending machine and grabbing some lemonade, I find myself at a bit of a loss. Not only knowing, not really knowing Lily's taste, I decided to take a guess and grab something that seems a little girly, but not too weird. Strawberry flavored milk. That's stereotyping. But I don't care. It's a dating sim. Back. I walk up to her and place the carton into her outstretched hands, making sure she has a grip on it before letting go. She feels the contours before opening it and taking a very tensive sip, her approving smile afterwards telling me I made the right choice. Safest flavor is watermelon. Does watermelon milk exist? I've never heard watermelon milk. I mean, I've seen milkshakes with watermelon, but they tend to be mixed with something else. Afterwards, telling me I made the right choice. We both rest and have a quiet drink for a few minutes. A familiar soft ringing begins to play from Lily's side. She quickly apologizes as her hand goes into her pocket, pulling out her mobile phone. Do you mind if I take this? It's fine, don't worry. She nods in thanks before turning away and flipping the phone open, bringing it to the side of her face as she picks up on the call. They exist, they're rare, but that's why they're safe. Imagine you just give watermelon milk to Lily. Isao, what is this? I've never tasted anything like this before. Why are you giving me this? Is it still called watermelon? Even if you put it in milk, would it be milk melon? Did I read this already? I think I did. Going by the tone of Lily's voice, the person on the other end is no doubt some friend or another. I tune out of their conversation pretty quickly, as the snippets, as this wait, as the snippets that Lily says makes it sound like more than gossip. Without much else to do, I find myself watching Lily. She really is a pretty girl, which would hardly hurt her popularity in school. It's interesting that it's interesting just how much Hanako and Lily contrast with each other, in both personality and appearance. Are you saying Hanako's ugly? Wow. Wow, dude. Pretty boy. Wait, what? For a few minutes, I just leaned back and drank, watching her. Before long, Lily says her goodbyes to the person she's talking to and hangs up, placing her phone back in her pocket and leaning back against the railing as before. Sorry, just a friend from class. I haven't played this game in an eternity. I can't believe someone knows this one. Hi, how are you? That's the first thing I want to say. But the thing is, I've actually known about this game since it first got released, but I never really got a chance to play it until my another friend of mine, Ragnar, played it in Discord for him and a bunch of other friends to just mess around. So I was like, I asked him, "Hey, does this game cost anything? I've heard about it, but I don't know if it costs anything." And he was like, "Oh, it's free." I'm like, "Oh, I might as well pick it up." Because if I knew it was free back when it was first released, then again, when it was first released, I was only like, um, I I already finished Lily's route. This is Hanako's route. I'm only doing 2 routes because I think the series will take too long if I do all 5. So yeah, we're doing Hanako right now. Also, yeah, a lot of people likes Lily. I take one swig from my can before throwing it into the bin. Lily gives me her carton to throw away soon after, finishing it off relatively quickly. You seem to have a lot of friends. Oh? Lily waits for me to continue, her interest piqued. I was just thinking that you and Hanako contrast really heavily. It's hard to imagine Hanako doing a lot of things you do, or knowing the people you know. You seem to think about Hanako quite a bit. I don't know, it's just she's mysterious, I guess. I kinda want to know more about her, which isn't that easy. It's almost like you're doubting your relationship to her. I don't think that's it. I just want to do more for her, being her friend and all. I don't even really know how she sees me. That statement seems to interest Lily quite a bit. I wonder if Hanako said anything about me to Lily during their conversations. I'm about to ask what's on her mind as she picks herself up from the railing. Shall we be off then? Her voice and expression shows that she's playing games with me. Lily knows damn well that she's leaving me hanging. With a sigh, I pick myself up from the railing, as well, and have a brief look around. We have stuff to do, so I'll just try and get back to her about this later. Tucked in between a newsstand and a convenience store is a small shop. The sign above the door reads, oh, it's the antique store from Lily's route. Otello's, I can never say that right. Antiques in decorative English script. It would be easy to miss if you were walking along the street. But since we're stationary and I'm purposely looking around, it's just noticeable. Say, Lily, that doll you got Hanako, was it new? Well, yes, but not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what you mean. I think I found our shop. It's across the road. Oh, what is it? Some kind of toy store? It's an antique shop. I think it's probably going to be our best bet. Really? I didn't know we even had one of those near here. Neither did I. I missed it the first time we went by here. It's pretty well hidden. Well then, it can't hurt to check. Inspired by this new find, we quickly dust ourselves off and head towards the store, Lily's hand finding its way to my elbow for guidance. The store has a strange musky scent to it. The layout is more like a garage than a store. Things are strewn around the floor without any immediate semblance of order. Oh, wait, never mind. We saw this old man in Lily's route. The shopkeeper gives me an almost bored look, though through his particularly small eyes. His face looks weary and tired, and his dress style is distinctively anachronistic. He gives us a polite nod of welcome before going back to his book. Lily holds tightly onto my arm, and I find myself having to split my efforts between making sure we don't miss a potential gift for Hanako and making sure Lily doesn't inadvertently bump into anything. The task is quite difficult given the haphazard way the store is laid out, and the many things poking out of the shelves they're on, or sitting on pieces of furniture. But eventually, we safely arrive at an old desk covered in dolls and teddy bears. I think this is the right place. They're pretty much every kind of doll you could imagine here. That should make the choice much simpler. Could you please pick one for me, SL? I had a feeling that it would come to this. I picture Hanako in my mind and tried to imagine which of the dolls before me would suit her the best. My eyes wander across the collection. Each one is exquisite as the one before it. The sheer number of styles is boggling, but eventually one catches my eye. Here, what about this one? I pick up a small porcelain doll that looks to be at least somewhat affordable. Dressed in a Victorian-era green dress and a little brown hat sitting atop its blonde hair. It looks a little like Lily. I gently pass it to her. She delicately feels her way around the object while wearing a look of slight concentration. It certainly feels beautiful. Do you think it will suit Hanako in your opinion? I think it would. It could look good in her room. In that case, I trust your judgment. Will you be getting her something as well? Or shall this be a shared gift? I'm not sure. I think I should get her something myself, but I don't think getting her another doll is such a great idea. Maybe... I let my voice trail off as I look around the shop. Resting on a writing table not far from us is a decorative box that catches my eye. Wait here. I think I found something. That was fast. Oh wow. Another Ara. I gingerly walk through a collection of crystal glassware and pick up the box. The wooden sides are covered in carvings depicting ancient battles around a castle. The top, however, looks far too familiar. Alternating squares of white and black varnished wood are arranged on the lid. That's a really nice item. It's a chess set. It's a chess set from overseas. The store owner sudden appearance startles me a little. I didn't see him approaching at all. I suppose he's trying to help us because we don't really look like we know what we're looking for. Or on the other hand, maybe he wants to keep an eye on us because he suspects we might be shoplifting instead. I'm looking for a present for a friend. I see. In that case, this chess set would make a fine choice. Realization floods into my mind. This is a pretty good-looking set, but this is an antique shop. They're not well known for their bargain prices. How old is this? This is a reproduction. My best estimate is that it's about 5 years old. I see. How much? He thinks a little before telling me, which is slightly disconcerting. I'll let you take this now for 7,000 yen. I balked a little. I wasn't expecting to spend that much, but this does seem perfect. Then again, maybe it's a testament to how well we worked out how much he could make me pay. Couldn't make it 5,000? 5,500, no lower. I'm sold. Oh, we'd also like to get that doll. The store owner looks over my shoulders, focusing on Lily and the doll in her hands. His eyes narrow, and he visually takes a moment to switch mental gears. Mental Gear Solid? In the process, his smile drops slightly. I guess that means that not everything in this store is a reproduction. Are you sure that you want this doll, miss? I trust my friend's judgment. I see. Oh, no offense. None taken. If you would please wrap it up for me, it would be appreciated. Yes, of course, but it is 20,000 yen. Lily reaches into her purse and presents 4 crisp-looking 5,000 yen notes. Here you are, 20,000 yen. The shopkeep daintily takes them and the doll, and proceeds to I can't read today. And proceeds to the counter. I take Lily's arm to guide her there. Are you sure about this? It's okay. I have funds I need. As I said, I trust your judgment. Yep, let's not forget, Lily is rich. I feel a little guilty on 2 fronts. Firstly, because Lily just spent a lot of money on my recommendation. And secondly, because I have a feeling the value of my gift isn't high enough. Nevertheless, Lily does seem to get somewhat awkward whenever the mention of money comes about. I hand the shopkeeper my present and the money for it in turn. He puts the cash into the register before busying himself and wrapping the doll and repeating the process on the chessboard. Eventually, he finishes the gift wrapping and hands us both our presents. Please be careful on your way back, and do come again. Thanks. Indeed. Thank you very much. The shopkeeper bows deeply to us as we leave. Well, it did take us all day, but we found something in the end. That we did. Now that the presents are wrapped, I'm feeling a little impatient to give them to Hanako. It's a common reaction to buying gifts, wanting to see the reaction of the receiver as they discover what it is. A part of me wants to return to Hanako, just to confirm her condition with my own eyes. So, should we head back? Let's. We've done a lot of walking today, so I shouldn't mind taking a rest at the dormitories. Lily's right. Now that the need to find a shop is over, my legs are feeling quite tired. Well then, back to the school for us. I'm looking forward to resting for a bit too. Lily holds out her arm, and I link mine with hers. Together, we make our way back to the bus stop. Katawa Shoujo. Mudo reads equations and formulas to us one by one, in his usual unenthusiastic monotone, directly from the book. It's possible that he might be excited about what he teaches us. Sometimes he can display an awkward spark of passion for it, as if he's starting to get into the material. Most days, however, like this one, what we're covering is fairly simple, so I find it increasingly difficult to keep concentration on him. It's not too long until my legs begin aching again, which only makes it even harder. Seeing how much people like Katawa Shoujo, I might actually consider I'm not gonna do the other 3 routes because it will take too long, but I might consider doing the Mickey mod if I could find it. But that'll be for a special occasion, so it won't happen for some time. I'm almost starting to regret walking around the city yesterday with Lily. Ever since the hospital, I've done very little physical exertion. Walking to and from the local corner store hardly counts. Despite Emi's attempts when I first arrived in Yamaku, I've largely given up on the idea of ever running to my old level of fitness. I have little doubt that that's why walking around town for so many hours has made me quite so sore. It's depressing, and it reminds me of one more thing I can't do since I had my heart attack. It makes me feel pathetic. Now, Ikezawa? It's odd for Mudo to ask Hanako a question, but not unheard of. She quickly jumps to her feet. A little startled, and immediately pins her eyes onto him. She knows that Mudo calling on her is rare, so all eyes in the classroom are going to be on her. This way, she doesn't run the risk of making eye contact with anyone else.
Yes?
In this particular example of redox reaction, the combustion of methane reaction actually produces one more product that is listed. The product is... Even though it's a softball question, she timidly waits a bit before answering, biting down on her lower lip as if to keep her concentration.
Heat?
Well done. This is an exothermic reaction, with the reaction giving more heat than is put into it. Receiving a nod from Mudo, Hanako takes her seat once again, and gives a relief sigh. A shaky start, but it's something. It'd be nice to take her out for her birthday, somewhere different from the usual isolation of her room, and the tea room. With the progress she's made until now, I don't think she'll have much of a problem going to the city. Right then, for the remainder of the class, I'd like you to work in groups of 3 or 4 on the problem in chapter 12. I'll be here if you need me. Mudo sits down behind his desk, pulls some loose sheets out of a folder, and starts on some kind of paperwork of his own. I thought teachers were supposed to do that kind of thing after class, not during it. Not really. Some teachers I had in high school did it, what was I saying? Did it during class and after class, and sometimes even before class. Regardless, I look to my right and pick out someone to form a group with. Given the 2 smiling faces hovering near mine, I don't think I'm going to get much say in the matter. I suppose we have a group then.
Ichan, you want to work together? Okay. That's great. It's really been a while.
The class begins the process of noisily shuffling the desk around, with Shizune. Oh, Firewall, hello, how are you? And Spiral says, Misha. Also, Firewall, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but you missed 2 ara-aras from Lily. With Shizune doing the same as she puts hers in front of mine. She's quite lucky to not be able to hear the din of the classroom, which is loud enough to cause some discomfort. Damn it. Truth be told, working with Shizune and Misha is probably a good outcome. Shizune and I are pretty good at this subject, and Misha has really nice handwriting. You'll timestamp them later? Okay. That's Hanako. And also I was talking about the Mickey mod. There's a character in this game named Mickey who is missing her left arm. One of the game's writers made a mod for her, and I might consider playing that mod in the future rather than doing the other 3 routes. As I look to Misha, I notice a tall figure behind her. The shadow catches Misha's attention as well, and she turns to face the dark-haired observer.
Good afternoon, Hanako.
Hello.
Shizune finally notices Hanako after looking up and following the gazes of Misha and I. In quick measure, she taps Misha on the shoulder to get her attention before signing away. Hanako teleports behind you.
Nothing personal, kid.
Shi-chan said if you're looking for a group, you can join ours.
Hanako looks down and blushes a little at the offer. Out of all the people in the class, Hanako's most familiar with the 3 of us, so it's reasonable that she'd come to us first. And again, her actually coming up to a group with the intention of joining them is something she apparently very rarely did before. She leaves briefly to drag her desk over, and Shizune and Misho wheel back to me as soon as her back is turned.
I guess we get to play again, Hee-chan. You hardly ever play with us anymore.
Really? Is it getting better? I wonder why. You 2 always seem to have some ulterior motive. Huh.
That hurt, Hee-chan. I almost think you're insulting me. But it's Hee-chan, so I know you're joking.
Such a great sense of humor about it. It'd be awful if someone were to take advantage of your good nature, like making you help them with their work.
Wahahaha.
Project files. Did you have to do an assignment or something? Shizune seems excited for a second. A little surprised that I'm willing to challenge her, but when she sees Hanako coming back, she backs off with a smile. I guess the mind games are over early today. Hanako gently sets down her desk in front of Misha's. Her eyes are locked downwards, and I'm left wondering why. I'm getting tongue twisted, and I'm left wondering why until I look around the class. Most are busy setting up their groups. but a few are casting curious glances at her. At this range, it's hard to tell whether it's where it's hard to tell whether that is where their interest in her ends, or if they are talking about her as well. It's strange, no one bats an eye when Hanako runs out of claws to avoid group work, but now that she's making an effort, they're staring at her as if she's done something wrong. It's fine. Like I said, I don't care what happens to me, but all I care is that there's a possibility you guys could have been annoyed, and being annoyed means you can't enjoy yourselves. So that's when I have to draw the line. To me, I care about my audience more than I care about myself. And also, I'm a musician, so I'm always for music. So, I don't mind song spams. As long as the song isn't offensive. That's the only rule. You guys are my mods now, so... yeah. It's strange no one bats an eye. Wait, I already read that. We all move to sort ourselves out, spreading our textbooks and worksheets around the larger surface created by the four joint desks. It isn't long before the class as a whole goes down to work.
Okay, Hanako. It's nice to finally work with you.
Yeah.
Are you the reason Hee-chan has been avoiding us lately? Shi-chan says it's a little rude, but if Hee-chan wants to spend time with a cute girl, it's understandable.
Oh, songs, I got this.
I don't think it's like that.
Also, I didn't make the rule because of him. It's because that's the third time it happened. Like, not him. The first two times were a few months ago. They were months apart from each other, but a guy said the N-word, and a few months later, another guy said the N-word, and now this guy is spamming. So after three different occasions, I decided I need to be more strict. Like, my goal is still to entertain people, but some forms of entertainment can harm others. So I will go with the crowd. If you're spamming and you're annoying people in the chat, then you're off.